Welcome into the LFC transfer room. Jack, Chedu, Charlie, and making a return after quite a big hiatus from the streams. Adam. Adam is the new guy. How are you doing on this lovely Saturday evening?
Not too bad, not too bad. Like as you all know, I'm in Ireland, so like it's not exactly lovely at the moment. We have rain in August, so it is what it is. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's a good day.
Charlie, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good, man. We've finally stopped being absolutely roasting here. So we've had some nice days of rain, but we're back to the whole we hate rain over here. So yeah, it's mix and match, but I'm doing good, doing good.
Chedu, my brother, this side of the continent. How you feeling? This side of the world, not continent. How you feeling?
Doing great, man. It's been quite a good few days, especially with a certain Argentinian man leaving his club. It's been interesting seeing people's reactions to that. But
So does that make you happy to see him leaving Barcelona, Chedu?
yes and no. No, because if when it comes to Spain, I like to root for Barcelona, so seeing him go is a little bit sad. Plus, every single one of my friends is a Barcelona fan, but at the same time, I just think it's funny.
That is fair. Elsewhere in Premier League news, Lukaku was confirmed, not confirmed. Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano both tweeting it's in the very final stages, so it'd be a center if that doesn't happen. But he's heading to Chelsea for just under a British record fee, £3 million less. And a man on the thumbnail of our video, Origi, Inter, replace one Belgian with another. I mean, Charlie, who says no to that?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Inter say that. I don't think Inter are going to be spending their 115 million, is it? That's being reported
Euros,
on Divock Origi. I think
They could spend half.
yeah, I mean,
Same quality.
I mean, we did a Spaces yesterday on Twitter, and we had Nima, Inter Milan journalist, in there, and he basically told us that the state of Inter now, a lot of the fans are furious with the owners. Basically, he thinks that this, and a lot of fans as well, think they're selling the club off for parts, like Hakimi, Lukaku. Obviously, there was talk of Martinez leaving as well. So it's, I think, if you want a player now from Inter, I think probably the best time to go in. But who knows? Maybe they take a Origi off our hands. 20 million, but since they've got loads of money, let's bump it up to 30 for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zapata has been reported. I think I saw Nemo reporting that. Nemo on the channel actually is a friend of the LFC transfer room. Did a video with Chris on Barella, I believe, a few months back. So check that one out. Origi plus £50 for Martinez would be a steal if you ask me. I understand. Martinez has been linked often, but I think Origi's the common denominator in moving someone on to get a forward. How confident are we that come the end of August, Origi is no longer a Liverpool player? Adam, your thoughts on kind of Origi's future this month?
I think he's staying. I think the situation, from his point of view, from a player, like it's surely, I don't know how he feels if he's happy to kind of stay in the situation he's at with Liverpool. But I mean, from the outside, it looks a bit grim. Like if we're still looking for the price tag we're reportedly looking for of 20 million, I just don't see any club paying it for him. I just think it's absolutely crazy. Obviously, we know football in regards to transfer fees, it's not based on the quality of the player. We've seen players go for, like for instance, Jack Grealish is a good player, but he's probably not worth 100 million. So it's not based on quality. If it was and Origi was a good player, yeah, we could say 20 million. So I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he hasn't got a lot of game time in the last 18 months. And I just don't know how you can constitute like asking for that amount of money for a guy who's barely played game time. And I think if Liverpool really want to offload Origi and bring in another attacker, you're probably looking at halving his price tag just to make that happen. I could be wrong though. There is clubs out there who are always looking for players and they're willing to pay the money. I didn't see Dejan Lovren going to Zenit last season for, what was it, 12 million? I didn't see that coming at all. I thought it would have been a lot lower than that. So clubs will pay it, but I just don't really see it likely happening if Liverpool are going to stick to the 20 million.
Honestly, to touch on that real quick, I don't remember who reported it, but apparently Wolves made like a 10 million bid for Origi, and it was rejected because Liverpool won more. Um, so thankfully the interest is there. The problem is the amount that Liverpool are looking for, which realistically no one's gonna pay 20 million for Origi. That's just how it is. Um, but realistically, reason why we haven't signed any other attacker, and it's obvious because again, it was confirmed. Was it by Pierce or Fabrizio? I don't remember.
I think it was Pierce, yeah.
That the only way we would have signed Daniel Malin was if Origi and Shaqiri left, and it's going to be the same thing. If we want to sign an attacker, both or one of them will have to go, mainly because of the squad list requirements, more than anything else, really. And something that I still find interesting, but I don't even trust it anymore. It's so like Fabrizio was asked, like, you said that Liverpool were gonna make more signings this summer. Is that still gonna happen? And Fabrizio's replied yes with a winky smile. So at this point, I don't know how much I can trust him. He said that Messi staying at Barcelona was done. He's not there anymore. So
I've seen that circulate. Call him fraud, Ezio or whatever. That one's just not his fault because I mean everyone in the Messi deal believed it was done, including.
It's funny to make fun of Fabrizio.
It is. I think Fabrizio's, in my opinion, his credibility is still top class. He doesn't, I think, put a reputation out there as much. Now that he's huge, like he's got 4 million followers on Twitter, he can't just be, taking stabs in the dark anymore.
Yeah.
But I think what I was reading from James Pierce is that last summer, it was Thiago and Jota both very late on in the summer.
Yeah.
So I think that, and I was listening to the Red Agenda podcast yesterday while doing some work in my yard. He mentioned that, Liverpool can't get ahead of the market anymore because the market is so tough to read. So you kind of have to wait for a lot of deals to materialize. So I think that, in my opinion, there's still a lot of room for Liverpool to make 2 moves.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's gonna be like the Jota deal from last year, or one that's even more recent is the Danny Ings one to Aston Villa. Like, I opened my phone to see a picture of Danny Ings in a Villa, and I was like, this is a cool edit. Then I looked at its unofficial picture, and I was like,
yeah.
What?
Teams can really move in silence if they really want to. So I think that gauging rumors is always very difficult. I think that Shaqiri, another man on the thumbnail, he's been very close to the exit door. I think he's publicly said, has he not, that he wants to leave. Is there a way? I mean, Origi, as I'm in agreement with Adam, what you said earlier, that I think Origi is probably going to stay due to differences in valuation. Can we see Shaqiri staying, or is he just so close to the exit door that he's just kind of a non-Liverpool player at this point?
Well, the links to Lazio have been quite strong. I don't know how truthful they are. I don't know if they've made a bet or anything, but I genuinely can't see Origi leaving. I just can't see it happening. Shaqiri, on the other hand, I think Shaqiri over Origi, a club would probably pay at least close to the valuation the Liverpool are seeking. Because I mean, Shaq is still a quality player. Like he can bring a lot of quality to a squad, just not ours right now. But him leaving this summer, I can see that happening. Honestly, Origi, no chance.
Yeah, I think I'll just. Sorry, I don't know if you want to go ahead.
No, jump ahead.
Yeah, I think with the Shaqiri thing, when we spoke to Lazio, people involved with the club, like people who know about Lazio, they're all sort of in agreement that they need to sell players. One of the players who now might have opened up is Correa to Inter Milan with the Lukaku deal. People seem to think that he might leave to Inter, and then as DJ says there, but I've just saw a friend to the channel, Jerry. He has said that offers have begun to come for 2 of their players. I don't know how you say one of them, but one of them is that Casiado, the Ecuadorian guy. So they're now starting to get slowly selling players. So I think Shaqiri is 100% done. The club have pretty much said they're allowing him to leave. Shaqiri has also said that he would love to play for Lazio. I think Lazio as well, from their side, they haven't really hid the fact that they want Shaqiri too. I just think it was an issue with outgoings, because it seems like, I don't know if any of you guys, but I feel like the Italian leagues have been hit the hardest by the pandemic. It really seems like they're struggling with a lot of things. So again, the reports we've been hearing as well is 10 million. Obviously, Sky reported that it was 12.75, but I do think it is going to be close to that £7-8 million mark that we get from, which again, it's a loss on him, but I think for the time, his age, he got Mourinho sacked, so I'll take the 3 million loss on him.
Adam, you wanted to mention something?
Yeah, I just touching on what the guy said. I think Shaqiri going out is a lot more likely, but I think Liverpool will be more likely to slightly drop the price on Shaqiri, similar to what Charlie said there, because they know that if they slightly drop the price, that clubs will. I think clubs are interested as it is, but I think they might be just waiting for that 12.7 million to turn into 10 million. Say, I think there's a chance Liverpool could do that. Whereas if you look at Origi, it's like, oh well, we won 20 million, but we'll drop it down to 17 million. Clubs are still going to say absolutely not. You know, like I said, you'd want to half that altogether. Where I think it's a lot more likely Shaqiri will leave if Liverpool are like, okay, listen, you know, clubs are still interested, but yeah, maybe we just have to take a further loss and maybe just bump it down, you know, 1 million, 2 million, and more than likely he'll leave.
Yeah, I think that the consensus reporting wise from us is that Shaqiri is far more likely than Origi, and I think that's for very good reason. Chedu, I think there is more to get out of Origi versus Shaqiri. I think we've seen all that he is. He's reached his max potential. I think Origi still has room to grow. I'm interested if you think there is room for Origi to improve this season, Chedu.
The room is there. The question is, can he actually do it? Have we seen like a performance spike in that man since he joined Liverpool? No, I do not count the 18-19 season consistently good. The room is there. Now it's up to him, and it's up to him to utilize whatever game time he gets to actually show that he can be a good number 2 for our team.
Another guy on the thumbnail, Nat Phillips. So there's a lot of interesting debates at center back. You have Phillips, you have Davies, you have Reece Williams, who have all gotten some minutes as your 4th, 5th, 6th, even 7th choice center backs. Charlie, in your eyes, Phillips, where does he rank in terms of you wanted him to move on versus keeping him around as a backup option?
Yeah, well, I think the centre-back discussion's a bit of it's an interesting one, because if you look, we've obviously got probably 6 centre-backs, 7 maybe. We've got Van Dijk returning, we've got Matip, Gomez returning, we've got Canate, and then we've got Reece, Nat, and then Ben Davies as well. So there's 7 centre-backs. Realistically, I think 2 of them are going to leave, and I think it either plays out, Nat Phillips gets sold and Ben Davies gets loaned out to Sheffield United, and then Reece Williams is kept around. But I think if Nat Phillips isn't sold, I can see Reece Williams going out on a loan. I think Davies is definitely one that's going to 100% leave on loan to Sheffield United.
Yeah.
I think that's probably in the clock where in like that's happening at this moment. Go on, Chedu.
You can finish.
Yeah, so I think that's going to happen. Obviously, James Pearce said yesterday in his little mailbox thing, he said that Newcastle, Brighton, Burnley and Southampton are all interested, and Liverpool's valuation is 12 to 15 million. So I do think that he's probably going to leave, honestly. I think there was a lot of people, I put a tweet out and a lot of people were saying, obviously, with Nat Phillips, right now is his highest potential he's ever going to get to with Liverpool. This is going to be the best price we can ever get for Nat Phillips. If he sits around for another year, plays a few games in the Carabao Cup, it's going to go down to 10 million. So I think a sensible thing to the club would just be to sell him now, get 12, 15 million, thanks for your services, and then promote the likes of Reece Williams, who we've seen can play. And maybe Billy Cometio wasn't ready, but maybe, I don't know, he's been impressing. Maybe we bring him as the 6th, 7th choice centre back. Hopefully we never have to deal with what we dealt with last year with the getting 3 of our 4 centre backs injured. So, but yeah, I mean, just on a quick side note as well, it looks like Ozan Kabak is going to finally find a club. So well done, Ozan. It looks like he's going to Sevilla for 10 million. So
yeah,
good for
I'm
you,
excited.
Ozan.
I'm excited to see Ozan.
Yeah,
I think Sevilla is a very good club for him. I think he would have been an interesting signing for us, but again, the issue was 17 non-homegrown players. We're at 17 now, even if we don't register Karius. So we have to, in a market where there's not many buyers, we have to offload several different players, and Phillips doesn't help us with that. Chedu.
Yeah, to touch on that, first of all, I do agree 100%. This is the best moment to sell Phillips. As sad as it is, because of course he became a little bit of a cult hero for us. So seeing him go, it's a little bit saddening, but it makes a lot of sense. And to touch on the Ben Davies thing, I mean, a lot of clubs want him. It's reportedly Bournemouth, Burnley, Sheffield, Celtic. But the way things are going, according to reports, Sheffield did make a bid to get him on loan, but Liverpool want to sell him, so they wanted an option to buy, which Sheffield declined. So I guess we'll have to see if they come when they come back for him again. But I think even though he doesn't want to leave, Ben Davies is most likely going to leave at least on loan. Which it's a little bit saddening for him. He came in with the promise of, becoming a little bit of a short-time hero for us in a moment of crisis, just to be sidelined by 2 kids and a guy who didn't even make the cut. So, a little bit sad for him, but we're probably going to make profit either way. So it is what it is.
In my eyes, Chedu, I think Ben Davies is our 5th best center back. I think he's better than Phillips. I think he's better than Reece Williams. I think he's the 5th choice guy. He's
better than. I'm pretty sure. I can say that he's better than Reece, but I haven't seen enough of him to say that he's better than Phillips. I saw 30. Was it even 30 minutes that he played?
Yeah, 30. Yeah,
I saw 30 minutes of him playing, and that's not enough for me to say that he's better than Phillips.
Yeah, Adam, Phillips versus Davies. It's going to be coming down to financials probably rather than talent. But what is your take on the future of the center back depth for Liverpool?
Yeah, again, I agree with both the guys. I think Davies is most likely, if he's going to go out this season, is probably going to be on loan. And Phillips, I can't see an issue with clubs not willing to pay for, Phillips. I think, a lot of them would be quite happy to spend 15 million on Phillips. I think he had a really good season with us last year, and I think clubs will notice that he does have a lot to offer, and he got us out of a really tight spot last season. So I don't think I know it's fairly quiet with Phillips at the moment. I know obviously Charlie mentioned there about the likes of Newcastle and Brighton, but it's, there hasn't been a lot of kind of activity similar to the way there has with Shaqiri. So
none of us. This is one of our other admins.
Yeah, definitely not me or anything.
Drop a like on the video, and we'll see what happens.
No. You know what? I'll consider it. If we get to 20, I'll consider it.
Okay. Just a quick little teaser. Sorry, Adam, but there's a video coming up where you might get a bit of blade nipples from Chedu. Who knows?
So actually, I'm going to jump in. A draft video. Yeah. Sensational video coming onto the channel very, very soon. We're hoping Wednesday next week. So remember, drop a subscribe, LFC Transfer Room on YouTube. Turn on those post notifications.
50-something% of you aren't subscribed. So subscribe.
And our Twitter people, our Facebook people, head over, subscribe to us there, and follow us on Twitter as well and Facebook. Adam, I'm sorry we interrupted you. Your train of thought. Continue what you're saying.
No, it was worth it. I can't see an issue with clubs coming in for Phillips, but I don't see him being there next season. I don't know. I think Liverpool may be willing to loan him out. I think he might even push for himself. I know he's talked a lot about wanting more first team football, so he might even be happy and take a season out on loan. It all depends what kind of situation Liverpool are in. Do they want to do that again? Do they want to kind of put both centre halves on loans? It's probably unlikely. The situation with Ben Davies has always been strange. I think the only reason Liverpool went ahead and signed him on a permanent deal back in January was because they were in a tight spot. They probably couldn't get him on a loan deal. There was obviously the homegrown situation as well probably came into play. But I think they knew in the back of their mind they were going to make a profit on Davies regardless of whether he played a lot of games or not. You had Celtic back in January. There was rumours of them potentially offering 10 million for its Preston. So it's a strange one, but I think I agree with the guys. At least one of them will definitely be gone this summer, and I think it's more likely to be Phillips, just because I think, like I said, he may just slightly push for himself. He may kind of just say to the club, listen, I want more first team football, and he's not going to get it a lot this season. So I'd imagine we'll probably be down to 50 centre backs by the end of the summer. You never know.
I think it's always an interesting debate. Is the issue right here money, or is it over like a bloated squad? It's tough to gauge considering the limited amount of access we have. But if you ask me, I don't think there's a lack of money. I mean, we're not going to go after Mbappe because there is a lack of money, I guess. But I think all of our realistic transfer targets are attainable. It's just a case of once Shaqiri goes, once an Origi goes, then we can pull the trigger on a player. That's how I always view it.
Yeah, I think in the spaces yesterday, I think Adam was in it, and we spoke to basically a financial expert on Liverpool, who obviously does a lot of things. His name's Mo Chatra, I think. Big presence. He basically said that the money's there, but Liverpool seem to be heading down the contract roads currently, and the reason why our wage bill is so big is because we've got so many bonuses. I mean, I don't know if you remember the story a few years ago, when Firmino didn't steal Sadio Mane's goal, and people were like, "Oh, Bobby's just like that was like 50k if he scored that goal." And he also said as well, which I found really interesting, that Alisson currently makes more than David De Gea, who is on with his new contract. And obviously David De Gea is on probably like 300 grand a week, but with his bonuses, he's making more than David De Gea. So if we're offering obviously new contracts to everybody, likes of Salah, Van Dijk, Salah, Van Dijk, Robertson as well looks like he's going to be getting one, Mane as well. I mean, our wage budget's already stupidly high, so it's a difficult one because the money seems to be there, but a lot of it's getting spent on wages. But he sort of come to the conclusion, Mo Chatra, again, you can check him out on Twitter, he does loads of stuff. He comes to the point that there is money to spend on players, but it's I do think I'm still convinced we're definitely signing at least one player this summer. But yeah,
I think that
should the priority, I was going to put the question to all you guys and obviously the guys that are watching, like, should the priority in your eyes be an attacker or a midfielder?
Attacker.
Midfielder.
I'd say a midfielder as well, yeah.
I'd say attacker. Just purely on the fact that I think, again, guys, we spoke about a lot of this on Spaces. Definitely check them out. We do them like once a week on Twitter, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I think Harvey Elliott's going to be playing a massive role in midfield next season. I don't think he's Wijnaldum's replacement, but I think Klopp is going to change the system to help suit around Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott in particular, who can play that more attacking role. I'm convinced we're going to a 4-2-3-1 next season for the large majority of it. So again, I think I'd say if we were staying in the typical 4-3-3, we'd go for a midfielder, but I think we need an attacker, especially with Shaqiri going and Origi not really offering much. Minamino, again, even though he's been okay in pre-season, I mean, he could be, all we know, he could go back on loan to Southampton tomorrow. So I think we need an established attacker who can score goals, but who has room to improve. Very similar deal to Jota.
Anthony,
Sergio Aguero.
Anthony, you disappoint me. AFCON, no, don't make choices
Yes.
based on
Two
AFCON.
games.
Yes.
2 games.
No, it's the end of the world.
2
We
games
need
against
72 different players.
Let
2
us know in
games
the
against
comments.
Brentford and Crystal Palace. So
Let us know in
that's
the
the 2
comments.
AFCON.
We need
you have
72 different attackers because of AFCON.
If you have to take one or the other, midfielder like a Wijnaldum or a backup for the front three, what are you taking? Let us know in the comments, Twitter, YouTube. I think, I think 4-2-3-1. This is interesting. This is where I would agree that a Vlahovic or some actual 9 could suit us, because it would mean that I don't know if Salah can play the top of a 4-2-3-1.
I don't know. I think he's proved that he can before. If we,
I think it will be his much better position for him. I think it would be. I think when he's in the middle and he's I think when Salah's on the wing, I think he has his back to a lot of balls. I think, and when he's shifted into the center, I think it just suits him a lot better, and he seems to play a lot more natural. So look, I mean, it's obviously going to be a new system, but I think he's well capable of doing that, playing up top on his own.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm all for Vlahovic. Oh, I don't know how you say his name. I need to Vlahovic. I'm all for him. He's like, I've said it on the stream before. He's like my number 1 target if I could have anyone after Mbappe. But I think Salah can definitely play that. I think it was 2019, 2020 when we had that December run where we won every single game. I think that was where Mourinho got sacked as well. We played a 4-2-3-1 the whole month, and Shaqiri was playing. That's when everyone obviously thought that Shaqiri was going to be like, oh, he's part of the squad. So Salah proved that he can play it, and I think with Jota as well now, it really brings in. Obviously, Mane, when he first come to the club, was a right winger. Jota at Wolves has always played on the left. So, and Harvey Elliott as well played in that sort of 10 Roman for Blackburn. So I think a change of system to a proper 4-2-3-1 with the players we've got now is definitely.
Do not let Matty hear that. Matty, if you're here, leave. Leave, Matty. Okay.
This is a saucy
one. I like that.
Firmino needs replacing. Yes or no?
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
Adam.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I know kind of Jota is not like, I mean, I'm not saying like kick him out the door, never play him again. But I think Jota is already kind of transitioning into kind of, not Firmino's role, but he's kind of transitioning into being a bit of a replacement. But no, I wouldn't say just yet. We need someone to come in and replace him. But yeah, I think looking at next season even, it might be the time to not necessarily sell him on, but we could need a guy like such as Vlahovic to come in. But yeah, I'm not saying like Firmino needs to immediately leave and I hate him and he should never play again. But
what's fascinating about Firmino to me is that I don't think we can replace Firmino in the formation we want to play. I don't think there is a player like Firmino in the world that can do that. So I think that what that means to me is that we can't buy someone to replace him. We just got to change the formation to have him play as the 10. Chedu, I think you clearly want to say something.
I totally agree with that, Jack.
Exactly what Charlie said. Formation change. We need to change the system.
So I think that just getting the other qualities of Firmino, like his playmaking, his movement, and his pressing, having those be the highlights, not having his finishing being the thing that lets him down.
Firmino is a number 10. He's not a striker. He's an attacking midfielder that plays as a false 9 for us.
I mean, he's a striker, Chedu. He does play as a striker.
I'd like to.
Right now he plays as a striker, but he's naturally an attacking midfielder that plays as a number 9 for us.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if someone said to me, "Are you gonna replace Firmino as a number 9 or in a front three?" I'd be like, "Yeah, we need replacing." But I totally agree with the guys. I think Firmino is an attacking midfielder. It's his best role. If we're gonna play him there, and we'll get so much more out of him.
I think that because in that instance you have 3 forwards who are your finishers, and he just creates space for them. I think he could play as part of the midfield 3 as well in a 4-3-3. I think he's got the work rate, and I think he's got that defensive part of his game down. So I think
he's the defensive striker. Just saying.
Look, I think in that sense, the question of who you sign in a midfielder or an attacker isn't necessarily as pertinent, because you have guys like Elliott who can play both spots, Firmino who can kind of fluctuate between. Oxlade, who can kind of fluctuate between. Even Curtis Jones could probably play as the 10 in a 4-2-3-1, in my opinion. So there are a lot of interesting options. I think a lot of reports about Shaqiri heading to Lazio. Latest on Saul is that
It's still on the same. It's still a little bit of limbo right here. I mean, him going to Barcelona. I think it's safe to say that that's dead.
That's
now the
Barcelona
question is,
money.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, exactly.
Look, if you think we're broke, look at the ownership structure of Barcelona. They just lost their greatest ever. They lost the greatest player of all time because of their finances.
Bartomeu is hands down the sole reason behind Barcelona's downfall in the recent years.
You think he's a Madrid fan?
Yes, yeah. Like I was talking to this with my friends yesterday, and it's like no one can be that stupid to burn a club that badly. Like he has to be a Madrid fan or some sort of imposter, because how do you ruin one of the biggest clubs in history like that?
To be fair, I do not defend him, but I think a massive issue is definitely the players that they bought. I know we're obviously going off topic from Liverpool, but I guess it's big news. Coutinho at the time was probably the best attacking midfielder in the world. I think everyone can agree that. Antoine Griezmann had just come off an amazing World Cup and again was probably one of the best players in the world. Ousmane Dembele, again, unbelievable prospect at the time, unfortunate with injuries. Again, Pjanic, terrible. That I can't defend him for the Pjanic one.
But here's the thing with all of those. First, starting with Coutinho, I mean, I'm more than happy that they played as much as they did.
Is this Barcelona transfer room?
Yes.
What is this shenanigans?
Yes, I'm just saying thank you for the money, Barca. You let us buy Van Dijk and Alisson, so thank you.
Thank you, Barcelona.
Sal to Barcelona's dead. The latest on the whole Sal news was James Pearce said that he'd be extremely surprised, or there would be a big change of heart if Liverpool like turn back on it. I don't think Sal's on the table anymore.
Look, then again, you look at Pierce's reporting of Thiago before it happened. It was being pushed down by the club, and then it happened. So I think that, not saying don't listen to everything you hear, but I think that, again, Liverpool do not operate with the most open door to journalists. So another kind of shifting around is pending departures of Origi and Shaqiri. I think Pedro Gonçalves is a tremendous option.
Please.
I want to pull up this. I think I lost the comment about his versatility. Someone sees the comment about how positions he can play. Gonçalves, I forget. If you commented that, I lost your comment on the versatility of Gonçalves. Posted. Yeah, thank you, DJ, and thank you, Chedu, for pulling that up. Tremendous option. I did a video speaking to Aaron Barton, who's a Portuguese football journalist. Check that out on the channel to learn a bit more about how Gonçalves played at Sporting last season. He kind of played in a Salah-like role, where he played to the right of a forward and kind of cut inside a lot onto that left foot. He has a bit of a wand of a left foot. He'd be an interesting one. Gonçalves?
Yes, please.
I think he's kind of one where he's expensive, £52 million release clause.
Worth it.
If it happens, he's young, he's really got a lot of potential, but the question is, can he develop here like he could elsewhere because of the lack of...
I think if we go in for any player and for the remainder of the window, it's like, I mean, for instance, like I think like Charlie mentioned earlier on, a lot of money is obviously going to be going on wages and new contracts, and I think that's probably one of the big reasons as well why we probably won't see Saul come to Liverpool, because like his wages will be high. They'll be relatively high starting off, and I think Liverpool are going to want to try and avoid that. So I think if we see a player coming in, it's probably a player that we're not going to spend a lot of money on. You would associate a player who you're going to buy for 50 million with relatively large enough wages, and I think Liverpool are trying to avoid that at least this summer, just given the fact they're trying to re-sign players to longer deals. So yeah, I think if we do see a replacement coming in attack, it's more than likely. Chances are it's going to be someone like, I know Jared Bowen's name has been mentioned a good bit. for the life of me, we were speaking about it earlier. The forward off Bournemouth, and I can't think of his name.
Juma.
Yeah, Dan Juma. Yeah, I just done a piece on him earlier on, actually, for the website, which should be up now. I think it was reports in Spain were talking about Liverpool being interested in and having a real advantage in getting the player. And I know Scott Parker spoke after the West Brom game last night in regards to what his future is, and it's still being decided. I think he's still making decisions. So obviously, social media kind of blew up from that, and people are kind of linking us with him. He's not in the Bournemouth squad, and that's a player who, I think fans would probably be a bit deflated if it happened, but at the same time, it wouldn't be surprising. If you look at the deal for Jota last season, it was a player that kind of came out of nowhere. We were not really interested too much in signing massive stars. It's about players, and it always has been under Klopp. It's about players that fit the system the best, and he's not going to care if it's a guy that we get for 15 million who no one's ever heard of. Once it fits his system and he thinks he can step up to that next level like Jota did, then that's the move we're going to be getting.
I think this is a great point. Kind of segue after that from David is that's our starting 11, right? And that is pretty nail on, except for maybe Gomez versus Konate versus Matip. Maybe, I don't know who jumps in that midfield. Maybe Firmino up front, but there's not a lot of open spaces in the squad. Whoever is signed has to recognize and has to be willing to not be the first name on the team sheet. And like a Bowen, for instance, wouldn't walk in demanding to be a starter, and he could improve a little bit.
I'll put you a hypothetical. You're Saul. Either you have the option of staying at Atletico, a team that clearly don't want you with them, a team that already signed your replacement, where you just be sitting in the bench most of the time. Would you stay at a place you're unwanted, or move to Liverpool where you'd be doing the exact same thing?
I wouldn't take less than my value. I think Liverpool may have to cough up a bit more on wages than they would want to with Saul, because he is a tremendous midfielder. Last season was bad for him, yes, but he is one of the best midfielders in the world when he's at his best. Top 10 midfielder in the world when he's like back in 2019 when he was nearing at his apex in value. It would be a tremendous deal, but he knows how good a player he is. We know how good a player he is. I think even Atletico know, but I think a move is pretty necessary for him to get back to that level. So I think it is tough, for in his spot and in our spot, how much wages you would give him.
Can I bring a good, a really good, possible, really realistic transfer to the table?
I feel like this is just not going to be realistic in the slightest.
It's definitely going to be. No, Messi's going to go to PSG. That's going to happen. But you know what happens if Messi goes to PSG?
Mbappe comes.
According to reports, Mbappe wants to leave.
Yeah.
And Real Madrid are way more broke than we are. So
I'm fully on the Mbappe train again. I stepped off it for a bit, but I'm back on it. I'm chewing. But it makes sense. I mean, if you look at, obviously, I feel like the Qatari owners of PSG sort of don't really care about FFP. I think a massive reason why they're signing Messi is because of the Qatar World Cup. It's going to give them a lot of bring a lot of people into it. But I mean, you've got Neymar has said he's going to give up his jersey for Messi.
That's not going to happen though.
According to reports, he's already given it up. So again,
I think he'll have no choice.
No, real quick. According to at least the reports I saw, he was willing to give him the number 10 shirt, but Messi declined, and he's going to go for the 19.
Okay, I knew Neymar give it up. But anyway, just about Mbappe, I mean, where they're going to have to play with the squad. You've obviously bought in Donnarumma on a free, who's now the world's most wage-wise, he's the most expensive goalkeeper. He already was anyway, but now it's going to be a lot more. Wijnaldum's on 300 grand a week. Sergio Ramos is, again, probably on similar money. Hakimi, who they brought in for, 80 million, 70 million, again, going to be on crazy money. Messi, I think I saw it was 24 mil a year. Not a clue how.
I think it was half that. I think it was 50 million a year is what I saw.
Yeah, so again, they're going to probably be paying on 800 grand a week for 2 years. Neymar, whatever he's already on, you got likes of Di Maria, or the money that they're spending is crazy. I think they're going to realize, okay, we're just going to have to take a loss on Mbappe. We're going to have to sell him for 80, 90 million, get rid of his wages. And I honest to God, I can see FSG coming in and being like, okay, Nike links, LeBron links, Jurgen Klopp links, you know, I'm praying, but I think again, it's like I'm not sure. I hope I'm begging that it happens. It just makes too much sense in my head, and I think a massive thing is I hope Nike are willing to pay some of the wages like you do in NFL, basketball, stuff like that.
Well, I didn't have any hope, but then when you went into the business end, they're giving me hope now, Charlie, again. Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's a bit aside, like just Charlie going over all the players in PSG there. And this is going to sound like the harshest thing ever, and it's a bit outside from what we're talking about. Well, it's completely outside, but would a team like that, say even if Mbappe goes and Messi is there, would a team like the team PSG have now, the only way you could lose the Champions League with a team like that, and this is going to sound awful, is unfortunately you have Pochettino as the manager. How he didn't win the league last season, how he didn't even win the Super Cup is beyond me. And yeah, I know it's totally off point, but I think just speaking on Messi going to PSG and everyone's like, oh well, they're going to win everything. It's like I don't think it's that straightforward. I think this even puts even more pressure on Pochettino now that he has so much. He has a much better squad compared to last season.
Wouldn't you prefer it that way though? Anyways, I think.
True.
Joe, there's no room for logic in this room. We'll end it on the optimism of Mbappe. We started it with maybe we'll sell Phillips, get a few quid. Maybe we'll sell Origi, get a few more. Maybe we'll sell Shaqiri. But now we end it with Mbappe's coming to Liverpool.
Fabrizio promised us a big summer. Nothing has happened. It's for a reason. We're going to sign Mbappe tomorrow.
That's how we will end the stream. Thank you, everyone, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, for tuning in for today's stream. Make sure to follow us on all platforms, subscribe to us on YouTube, hit that alert bell thing so you can catch our upcoming, very saucy draft Liverpool video. It's going to be a good one. But for myself, Jack, for Chedu, for Charlie, and for Adam, this has been a stream from the LFC Transfer Room, and we will catch you in the